And there we go. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy, Jimmy, back at you with another episode of Combat and Cryptids. So, yeah, let's go ahead and get everything pulled up over here. It is Sunday. Easter's coming up. So, I don't know if you guys really celebrate that or do the whole egg hunts and all that stuff, but it should be fun. Yep, so, but yeah, I hope everybody had a great and wonderful week. And I want to thank and show my appreciation for all the people who are still subscribing, still listening, still watching the videos and stuff like that. Like, I really do. I always like to start like the first part of the show now. Like, hey, like I appreciate you guys, and you guys are doing a hell of a job as far as subscribing, liking, commenting, doing everything. Like, the consistency in the videos is good enough for what I would like. So I just wanted to start the show off by saying that, and that I really appreciate you guys tuning in. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and kick today's episode off. And today, so I had this. I mean, I guess throughout the day or throughout the week and stuff like that, I always try and like bounce ideas off of people or ask questions about people and stuff like that. And like, hey, what do you think I should talk about this week? Because there's all kinds of different things you could talk about. And my youngest daughter, she's 9. She's a character. So yeah, and the thing that she's kept bringing up is for me to talk about the Bermuda Triangle and how that kid got on that subject. I don't know. I guess she's kind of weird like me and my wife because she like researches this stuff like at school and stuff. Like it's just a little. It's not that it's odd, but it's just different than when you would normally see like a 9-year-old looking up at school, like all these other kids are looking up like being astronauts and stuff, and she's like, let's just look up some alien stuff or anything like that. So on that note, she has been telling me for the past couple weeks to talk about the Bermuda Triangle and kind of go into some little scenarios and probably so what I have today is we'll talk about two different things. There's three things we could possibly talk about. The first one's going to be about the Bermuda Triangle, and basically I'll just go over like the 5 most intriguing, I guess, stories about things that have happened in the Bermuda Triangle, and then the other part of the show I want to talk about. So I'm really big on like Ohio seems to be like a big hotspot for alien activity. And as far as what I mean by that is there's a lot of theories and things that go around to say like it always happens around the lake and stuff like that. Like I don't know if they use the lake to kind of like to go in and go under and that's where they stay and that's probably why we can't find them. So like I don't know, but so I thought I'd bring up like the 5 like interesting stories or UFO sightings in Ohio. And the date ranges are all kinds of crazy and stuff like that. But yeah, that's probably what we're gonna focus on today on this week's show. But yeah, other than that, I'd like to point out also that so my wife is really big into houseplants. Like like I made these shells for her. It's like she loves houseplants. That's like her thing. We all have our niche. This is mine, and that's hers. So we went and picked this bad boy up. I don't know what it's called, to be honest. But it's pretty cool tree, And I always like to showcase her plants of some sort and everything like that. But yeah, other than that, that's got that. The if you guys haven't noticed, the stash is coming in real nice. And my wife hates it, absolutely. But I'm digging it for the moment. So yeah, so we're just gonna rock with that for a couple months and see how this thing looks and turns out. But yeah, other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and we'll go ahead and get this thing kicked off. Yeah. So other than that, the Bermuda Triangle. So this one was by Shamsir Mambra. It was in 2001 and this is maritime history. So this is basically like shipping vessels and stuff like that, which is my neighbor across the street. He's like a douchebag, I guess. Like he's just like loud and obnoxious, and it's just annoying sometimes. But we all have those neighbors. Anyways, so yeah, so the Bermuda Triangle, also known as the Devil's Triangle, happens to be one of the most mysterious places. Mysterious is stupid ass. Already starting out bad. One of the most mysterious places on this planet, located off the southern eastern coast of the U.S. in the Atlantic Ocean between Bermuda, Florida, and Puerto Rico. So that's what makes the triangle right there. The region has become the center of unresolved mysteries, covering an area of 440,000 miles of sea. The Bermuda Triangle is part of a busy shipping route with several vessels heading to the Americas, Europe, and the Caribbean, crossing through every day. It is more due to the inexplicable outcomes that make it highly studied yet enigmatic component of the Earth's surface. So, over the centuries, many ships and planes have been reportedly to have mysteriously disappeared in this region. Also, this Devil's Triangle has been blamed for the disappearance of thousands of people in the past decades. The term Bermuda Triangle was first used by Vincent Gaddis in 1964 in his article published in Argosy magazine. The stories around the Bermuda Triangle began in the Christopher Columbus time when he reportedly saw a flame of fire crashing into the sea in the triangle during his voyage to the New World. How do I fucking close out this ad? God, I hate ads. I hate pop-up ads. Like, they just piss me off so much. However, the mysterious behavior of this region came to the public's attention only in the 20th century, when the Navy cargo ship USS Cyclops with more than 300 people on board went missing in the Bermuda Triangle. 300 people. And this is in the 20th century. This isn't like, early times. Like, this is like early times. You go missing, everybody was like, all right, yeah, the ship sank or it crashed or whatever it was. But to be in the 20th century and have 300 people on board went missing in the Bermuda Triangle. The last incident in the region is the disappearance of a small twin-engine plane in May this year. So whatever year that was. So this was 2000. When was this article written? May this year. Let's look at it real quick. No, there's no way that's right. That didn't make sense. But okay. Anyways. With 4 people on board, the plane suddenly disappeared from radar when it was flying from Puerto Rico to Florida, and the debris from the missing plane was found later. The recent incident that involved a ship was the sinking of a cargo vessel in the Bermuda Triangle during a deadly hurricane in 2015. As the accidents, often mysterious, continue to happen in the Bermuda Triangle region, many have offered a number of explanations for the mystery behind them. The role of paranormal activities and the presence of aliens have been strongly suggested by those who believe something odd is happening, while many with scientific views have disputed the argument of offering rational explanations to the phenomena. Among the few proposed scientific explanations, the most popular is the theory of the electromagnetic interference that causes compass problems. That causes compass problems, but eventually you'll get out of that shit, and you should at some point be held onto course. So the bad part, so if you've ever traversed like oceans, like from like country to country or continent to continent and stuff like that, like it's not how you would think, like you go fishing in like a lake or something like that. So basically, especially on like naval ships and stuff like that. So basically how it all works is you can't just go in a straight line. Like you would think like a flight, you go up and you go straight over. Like that's how you would think it is. But in all reality, it's really, there's zigzagging, like to get to a point. And if like I remember one time we went from Spain, and we were coming from Spain going back to the Virginia, and the voyage itself should have taken maybe like a week and a half, 2 weeks or something like that. Like it shouldn't have been that long or something like that. But we ended up taking twice as long because for some reason the pattern that they had drawn up wasn't working correctly. And basically we went like forward like 3 time zones. So we gained time. And then we ended up back in time like 3 hours, the same spot, because they had to zigzag back. So it takes a hell of a lot longer because you can't just drive straight through, because of obviously like they're thinking like terrorist attacks and bombings and all that stuff. You can't just draw in a straight line because then they could launch warheads or anything like that, and then they hit you and then you all die. So that's why they do like the zigzag patterns. So that's usually that's usually the most strenuous part as far as like naval vessels. I don't know about like like commercial like vessels that carry like cargo and stuff like that. But yeah, that's pretty much the reason why. Like, and most of the time they use like if you see the sky, so like that, that's like the original like way to navigate throughout the night without using like electronics. Because obviously, if your electronics go down, you still need to be able to figure out where the fuck you're going. Because you just don't want to keep just driving in fucking nowhere. Because when you get out in the middle of the ocean and you turn off all the fucking lights, like that is a creepy ass sight. You think the darkest of the dark, like that is dark shit. Like there's no noises. There's just water around you, and that shit. Like I think that's probably one of the creepiest things right there. Like I don't know what would be more creepier. Like if you were like in the woods alone. Like, and I don't know, what do you guys think? Like, if you're in the woods alone, like, at least you have an opportunity to do stuff. You know what I mean? Like, you can make a fire, you can get sticks and stuff like that. But when you're in the ocean alone, like the middle of the ocean, like, that's probably like, and I don't give a fuck if you're like in a raft or whatever. Like, that's probably like the most, and it's probably even worse if you're like by yourself in the woods. Yeah, it's gonna be creepy. But you can make a fire, you can do all this other stuff. But like in the ocean, like alone, like that shit's like that's got to be like wild. And people have spent days and weeks and lost at sea and stuff like that. That's got to be fucking crazy. But yeah, so this theory claims that there is a very high pull on the Earth's natural magnet, which redirects the compass and other sophisticated equipment and disallows them to take their intended route through the waters. However, as a single theory could only offer concrete explanation, many still believe there is nothing strange with the region, as most of the incidents were inaccurately reported or fictionalized versions of the accidents. Notwithstanding that, there is no proven theory for the exact reason behind the mystery of the Bermuda Triangle. The accidents continue to happen in the region every year, and the legend of the Bermuda Triangle consists of the numbers of the mysterious disappearance of vessels in the region. Most of these them remain least clueless still. Here's a list of the most noted stories of disappearance or the unresolved mysteries of ship accidents in the Devil's Triangle. Mary Celeste is the first one. So, possibly one of the most mysterious stories of shipwreck. The ship is a tale of its own despite being found adrift in some other location in the Atlantic Ocean. The connection to the Bermuda Triangle has been somehow invoked to find an answer to the mystery of its fate. Discovered on 4th of December 1872 with everything right in place except for the entire crew. The ship was found stranded on the sea days after starting its journey from New York to Genoa, Italy. There were 7 crew members and Captain Benjamin Briggs, his wife, and their 2-year-old daughter aboard the vessel, loaded with raw alcohol. But days after, when passing British ships called De Grady, found Mary Celeste under partial sail in the Atlantic, off the Azores Island. The ship was unmanned with no crew aboard, and the lifeboat was also missing. It was also found that 9 of the barrels in the cargo were empty, and there was a sword on the deck. No trace of the people aboard the vessel or the missing lifeboat have ever been found. Studies of the ship clearly ruled out the possibility of a pirate attack, since everything on this ship, including the barrels of alcohol it was transporting, and the crew's valuable belongings, were intact. Theories surrounding the mystery of Mary Celeste also include the chances of a criminal conspiracy, alien abduction, and even an attack by a giant squid. The possibility of a natural disaster was also on the list. Many suggested the role of the undersea earthquake behind the accident, which few proposed an accident fouring of the vessel in the Bermuda Triangle. However, as much as these speculations seem reasonable, they clearly don't fit. After all, why would a perfectly skilled crew on a good weather day with their ship entirely uncompromised abandon it and never surface again? I don't know. That's a weird one. That's kind of like I could see if like the ship was out there and there's like like ship breaks or just like stuff's missing and stuff like that. But to see that like everyone, like I don't know, man, that's just weird. Like I don't get why you would do that. I don't know if maybe people were getting sick, maybe I don't know. And that's the weird thing about like those time frames. Just like people got sick, they would just throw people like overboard. I mean, you never even know about it. So maybe somebody had some disease or something like that, or maybe they got fucking abducted or like ghost or I don't fucking know. Like you don't know how long. And see, this is when it was first being recorded, but you don't know how many other disappearances have happened in that area before this. So I mean, it's just weird. Or maybe they were just people who or pirates like came up to them and they were just like, "No, we don't want your shit. We just want you." Like I don't fucking know. Maybe. Hmm. But yeah, that's the first one. Little weird, little suspicious. I mean, that for you can believe whatever you want on that one, really. Um, so the next one is Ellen Austin. So in its unnerving triangle mystery associated with the Americans' White Oak schooner Ellen Austin in 1881, the 200 feet long Ellen Austin was going to New York from London when she stumbled upon a derelict near the Bermuda Triangle. Everything seemed fine with the unidentified schooner drifting just north of the Saragossa Sea, but the missing crew, Captain Baker of the Ellen Austin, asked to observe the derelict for 2 days to make sure it's not a trap. After 2 days with no response from the ship, the captain entered the abandoned vessel with his crew to find that the well-packed shipment and no sign of the crew. To tow it back from Ellen Austin, the captain placed a prize crew on the ship set to sail together. However, after 2 days of sail on calm waters, a squall separated the path of the two ships, following which the derelict vanished. Days after the storm, according to the stories, Captain Baker's lookout could spot the vessel through his spyglass, only to realize the vessel drifting far away aimlessly once again. Finally, after hours of effort, Ellen Austin could catch up to the vessel, but strangely, no one was on board. However, another version of the story suggests a second attempt by Baker to bring her back to land, but ended with the same fate before Ellen Austin before abandoning the cursed vessel. Other reports suggest that the derelict was once more spotted, but this time had a separate crew than the prize crew placed on the Ellen Austin. The ship's disappearance, reappearance, and the prize crew's absence is an intriguing story. It is more like a secret of the Bermuda Triangle, one that has seemingly no chance of being unraveled anytime soon. And that's a little weird. So basically, you go out there and they see the boat that's like floating around, and basically they observe it for 2 days, and they're like, all right, so 2 days, no one pops up, no one's coming up. Maybe there was still people on it. You don't know until because everybody obviously didn't get on. So he just puts a group of guys enough to man the ship of his own guys on the ship and mans the ship, and then from there they start to sail, trying to bring it back into port, and the ship again gets separated, and then he finally sees it and catches back up to it, thinking like probably gonna talk to his crew like, hey, what the fuck, guys, like, why aren't you guys? And he gets up there and his crew that he just put on there isn't on there anymore. So then at that point you're just like, well, fuck, like, where did all the people go? What the hell's that? Like, I mean, and so many things could have happened. Then, like, man, it's just weird, I guess. And when you're in those situations where you're just like out there by yourself, like, I don't know. I would assume they would have enough food, yeah. Like they would have to. There's no way they just went crazy. Like I would assume like he would put like a good enough crew that would be on there to like make sense of the whole fucking thing, you know? But it's just odd. It's just odd that after this the his attempt to get it and then another attempt to get it and not be able to find it or figure it out or whatever. I don't know. Like Jesus Christ, at that point you're like, well, fuck it, just stay out here. I don't give a shit. At that point you're just like, I don't know what else to do. Like you're trying everything. You put another crew on there, and they fucking maybe the thing just wants to be lost and left at sea. Like maybe there's ghosts on it. Maybe there's fucking aliens. Maybe there's fucking mermaids or sirens or some shit that's in there tearing stuff up. I don't know. Hmm. Who knows? It's just a little odd that would happen. But oh my god. So these are like summer shandies. They're so good. Oh my god. And I didn't know about summer shandies. It's like a Midwest drink, I guess. Like, yeah, Leinenkugels. I'm assuming it's in Wisconsin, yeah. Leinenkugels are pretty good, bro. But I only like the summer shandies. Like, I don't drink these. Any of the other ones. They have like a variety pack. But these are pretty good. I like them. But yeah, anyways. So, a little weird. 100%. So now the USS Cyclops. Already, first impression, that's a weird name for a ship, in my opinion. Okay, but all right, it just seems like with a name like that, you're asking to be abducted and shit. But anyways, so the disappearance of the USS Cyclops, one of the Navy's biggest fuel ships, marks the largest loss of life in the history of the U.S. Navy in a single incident. In March 1918, the massive ship set out to sail from Brazil to Baltimore through the Bermuda region carrying 10,800 tons of manganese ore with about a crew of 309 members on board. Setting off on a fairly good day, the ship's first and only message indicated no source of trouble. However, the ship was never heard from again. An entire search of the area was put in action, but nothing was ever found. No remains of the ship or any of the crew members aboard have ever been found. The captain of the USS Cyclops never sent a distress signal, and no one on board responded to radio calls from other vessels in the vicinity. The naval investigators also failed to find a definite cause for its disappearance, though there were a number of theories suggested various reasons. Due to its mysterious disappearance, Cyclops has been part of the list of more than 100 ships and planes that have vanished under the strange circumstances in the Bermuda Triangle. Like, see, that's a little suspicious, man. In 1918, I guess, I mean, communication's probably not that great at this time. Like, I don't know when naval communications started getting good, but you would think in like 1918, it's probably not the best. But to see, and I mean, like the ocean is deep though, man. That shit's deep as fuck. And if something that heavy gets a hole in it of some sort, and I'm not saying like fucking icebergs like the Titanic or something, or maybe it was, I don't fucking know. March, it's still cold, I guess. But to have something go wrong to where the ship sinks and things that are that heavy, like I don't think you're gonna. And I don't know how long. These stories never really tell you how long in between until someone found them or tried to look for them and stuff like that. Or did this take the same route? Those kinds of things. It's just a little suspicious to me. But it's just like it would be pretty easy to make all these things disappear. I mean, besides like some life jackets and stuff like that, like those things float normally. But for the majority of it in the vast ocean, like you put like it's just like having like a bathtub full, and you throw like a little piece of foam in there. Like you got to think like however small that is, if you're not taking the same path or seeing it, because if you ever go into like swells, like deep swells in the ocean, you're going up 20 feet, down 20 feet. Like it's easy to get lost and get turned around in that situation. And for those things to disappear like that, it's just weird, I guess. And I guess probably the biggest thing for me is the Bermuda Triangle is where they say hundreds of all these ships and planes have vanished. But if you look at the other parts of the ocean, like the Pacific and all that stuff in the Indian Ocean, like I wonder what if they have similar, like hey, this is like a hot spot for where shit just disappears or things go haywire. Like because if that happens, like if you're going the on the West Coast, like in California, and you see this stuff, like then you can be like, okay, like this is just a hot spot where like maybe like the sandbar is lower in that spot and people get hung up and they fucking sink their shit. I don't know. But it's just weird that even though like these are I mean hundreds of ships, that's a lot of ships and planes. Like that's a lot of shit. And to be one thing, I guess, to be like just ships, then you can think like maybe it's like something navigational and causing the ships to hit something or crash or do something like that. But to have it as planes too, which are in the air, nowhere near any of that stuff, like that just seems a little odd. Like if it was one or the other, if it was just nothing but planes, then it'd be like okay. But because it's ships and planes, and there's like no rhyme or reason behind any of them, like that's what makes it like so interesting and I guess so odd for it. So yeah. So Carol A. Deering, a five-masted commercial schooner, is one of the most written about maritime mysteries of the 20th century due to the complete mystery around its abandonment. On January 31st, what the fuck? Like, that's my birthday. Man, why is all this weird shit always happening? This is like the third time. Something, like I've read something that's happened on my birthday. Like, this is so weird, I guess. I guess you do it enough and something's bound to happen around there. On January 31st, 1921, Carol A. Deering was found hard aground on the treacherous rocks of Hatteras Diamond Shoals near North Carolina. There were speculations that the vessel was involved in rum running. Yep, said that right. However, when the investigation team from Barbados reached the vessel after days of effort in the rough sea, what they found was a deserted ship with all crew members missing, along with the crew's personal belongings, ship's navigational equipment, logbooks, and life rafts, among others. Often known as the ghost ship of the Outer Banks, the disappearance of Carol A. Deering, along with few other vessels during the same time period in the Bermuda Triangle area, have been valuable information on the mysterious waters, but nothing could bring anyone any closer to solving this mystery. Reports suggest that as many as 9 vessels disappeared during this period from the same region, none of which have ever heard from again. Wow. The ghost ship of the Outer Banks. I should probably look that one up and see how. That one's probably got a little more information on it, I guess. But I don't know if you've ever seen the movie. It's literally called Ghost Ship. Like, but that movie is fucking creepy as shit, man. People just start fucking dying, and well, I think it started as like a gold heist or something like that, and then the gold heist turned into like the people who were heisting all the gold ended up fucking killing the entire crew and all the people who were on there. They ended up killing them all, and then they end up all getting stranded out there, and basically no one makes it off the ship. So then these in like the 20th century, people are like trying to go find the ship, and they go and find it. They get aboard it, and it's just fucking haunted to nobody's belief. Or just people are just fucking start getting killed by like freak accidents, like Final Destination shit. Like it's a crazy ass movie. But if you've never seen the Ghost Ship, you should watch that movie. It's got a lot of jump scares and shit like in it like that. But that's so weird. Like that would be so weird though, to be like, to be like a fisherman, like in the evening, you're coming back from like in the Outer Banks in North Carolina or something like that, and you're just like coming in and you see like a fucking big ass ship just like right there. Man, I don't know about you guys, but I'm not the type of person to like go investigate. You know what I mean? Like if it's at my house, yeah, I have an obligation then. But if you like have the option to investigate something, like I've seen enough movies where you're like, hey, like, nah, man, I don't go investigate shit for the fear of what I don't want to see, I guess. And that's probably like the biggest thing. So, yeah, witchcraft. On December 22nd, 1967, a cabin cruiser named Witchcraft left Miami with her captain, Dan Burke, and his friend, Father Patrick Horgan. The two gentlemen's journey on the 23-foot luxury yacht was to enjoy the wonderful view of Miami's Christmas lights. However, after reaching just 1 mile from offshore, the Coast Guard received a call from the captain stating that his ship had hit something, but there was no substantial damage. Indicating help to be towed to shore, the Coast Guard set off immediately, reaching Witchcraft in as many as 19 minutes alone, but to nothing. The area indicating the ship's location was completely deserted, with no signs of any ship having been stranded or even present there previously. What's most intriguing about this story is the particular cruiser was virtually unsinkable. That's what the fucking Titanic said. That's so dumb. Not to mention numerous life-saving devices present aboard, including life jackets, lifeboats, flares, distress signal devices, etc. None of them were used, and the ship was gone. The Coast Guard's officials searched hundreds of square miles off the ocean over the next few days, but were unsuccessful. Nothing of the ship has been found until this day. This ship is gone, and what remains is only the speculation that can be done now. Holy shit. That's crazy. I want to read that one again. That one's pretty good. Like, that's just, like, cut and dry. Like, and this is in 1967, so like, this is the height of, like, when yachts are coming out. Everything is just starting to, like, boom, boom, boom. You know what I mean? So on December 22nd, 1969, a cabin cruiser named Witchcraft, already number one. So let's redigest this whole thing. Witchcraft? Why the fuck would you name your boat that? Like, are you just asking for, like, weird shit to happen to you? Because that's what seems like you're summoning these kinds of things to like, oh my God, this is what happened, Left Miami with her captain, Dan Burke, and his friend and father, Patrick Horgan. The two gentlemen's journey on the 23-foot luxury yacht was to enjoy the wonderful view of Miami's Christmas lights. However, after reaching just 1 mile, only 1 mile, you gotta think, if you're standing on shore and you see out one, you can see out a mile pretty good. So to see something like crazy like that happen, and it's at nighttime, which is even worse because then you can't see, like, you see lights and shit, like it's hard to see that stuff. Um, After reaching just 1 mile from offshore, the Coast Guard received a call from the captain stating that his ship had hit something, but there was no substantial damage, indicating help to be towed to the shore. The Coast Guard set off immediately, reaching the Witchcraft in as many as 19 minutes. So 19 minutes from distress call to getting there. 19 minutes. I think it takes, honestly, how long does it take for like a boat to sink? Like cap done, like of that size. I would assume it only take like 5 or 6 minutes. Don't quote me on that though. But it doesn't take as long as you would think. But still, 19 minutes, everything's not gonna sink. You know what I mean? Like debris, like life jackets, all this, nothing, none of that's gonna sink. I guess that's the weird part. So the area indicating the ship's location was completely deserted, with no signs of any ship having been stranded or even present there previously. What's most intriguing about the story is that this particular cruiser was virtually unsinkable, not to mention the numerous life-saving devices present aboard, including life jackets, lifeboats, flares, distress signals, and etc. None of them were used, and the ship was gone. The Coast Guard's officials searched hundred. The officials searched hundreds of square miles of the ocean over the next few days, but were unsuccessful. Nothing on the ship has been found until this day. The ship is gone, and what remains is only the speculation that can be done now. That's crazy. So yeah, I mean the Bermuda Triangle. I mean obviously it's not. It's weird in its own sense, but it's not as as deep and as I mean it is pretty deep as far as how many people have fucking disappeared and stuff like that. Like that is crazy as shit. Um, but yeah, that's just a little weird for me. Like a lot. Like that's just that shit's creepy as fuck. But the Bermuda Triangle. I mean that's just a weird. I don't know. I'm assuming there's got to be a lot of shit going on with that. Like and that's been going on for a while too. Like a while, and that's before. I guess that's I don't know all the Bigfoot and like cryptid encounters and stuff like that. That's all that stuff's kind of like a little before that. When it started. That's what makes it weird. Hmm. You guys think it's aliens? You think it's like ghosts? Do you think it's like a curse, like a triangle or an area, or what do you guys think? I mean, that's just an odd one, I guess. Hmm. We shall see. So now, the O files. Here are 5 UFO or alien sightings reported in Ohio, and this was published in June 2021, but then it was updated in June 10th, 2022 by Joe Dandrin, the Columbus Dispatch. So, from Roswell, New Mexico to Circleville, Ohio, UFOs and aliens have been part of America's myth and legends for some 75 years. The U.S. government in 2020 released 3 videos of UFO sightings by Navy pilots, one from 2004 and 2 from 2015. And NASA announced Thursday that it's launching a new study of UFOs. The new study will begin this fall and last 9 months, costing no more than $100,000. It will be entirely open with no classified military data use. NASA said the team will be led by astrophysicist David Spergel, president of the Simons Foundation for Advancing Scientific Research. The Buckeye State has had its fair share of UFO sightings and close encounters. So here are the 5 of the most popular in Ohio lore. So Portage County, 1966. On April 17, 1966, 2 Portage County Sheriff deputies stopped to investigate an abandoned car at about 5 a.m. near Ravenna, Ohio, about 144 miles northeast of Columbus. According to the reports from the Beaver County Times in western Pennsylvania, the 2 deputies saw a UFO come up from behind some trees and chase a flying saucer from Ohio across the state line into Pennsylvania. During an 86-mile chase that at times reached 100 miles per hour. At one point, a dispatcher instructed 2 deputies to shoot the object, but a sergeant countermanded that, saying it could be a government weather balloon, the story said. Oh, we know everything about weather balloons, don't we? Yep. The hell? One of the Portage County deputies, Dale Spar, told reporters that the object was roughly 40 feet wide and 20 feet tall by his estimations. Some have control over it, he said. It wasn't just floating around, it can maneuver. The deputies gave up in pursuit in Conway, Beaver County, Pennsylvania home of a massive rail yard. The UFO hovered, then sped off in the night, but hundreds of people reported seeing the saucer and hearing its steady hums. We were closer than I ever want to be again, Spurs said. So, Tarleton, 2006 or 2007. Two women driving back from Columbus in 2006 2007 were near Tarleton, a village of the border of Fairfield and Pickaway counties, when they spotted what is described in the one account as an entity sitting inside of a silver truck. The database of the Roundtown UFO Society, or RUFOS, website compares the sighting to the 1985 alien flick Cocoon, calling whatever the pair saw white and slightly body stature, almost glowing. The pair gave their first-hand account of the night and recorded the RUFOS meeting in March 2018. For years after the incident, they said they never talked about the encounter. Two women said the person or the thing in the truck was glowing brightly. My headlights are shining on the vehicle because we're looking straight at it. One of the women said in the recording, there's nothing in the actual cab of the truck. As we become parallel with the truck, there is where we had different experiences. I felt like something was turning my head, making me turn, and as I turned in the opposite direction, there was it glowed like white power. That's the only way I can describe it. There are no eyeballs. The second woman told RUFO's members, very thin, hairless, bald and so thin, no definition of nose and mouth, but it was glowing. Huh. RUFOs, huh? Alright. The Pickaway County, 1958. Dispatch reporter Holly Zachariah documented RUFO's director Peter Harnon's close encounter that he said took place on February 27, 1958. When he was 17 and on his way to Pickaway County Fairgrounds, Hardinger told the dispatch about the incident last year following the U.S. government's acknowledgement and reports. Hardinger said he saw saucer-shaped objects floating over the local feed mill near Circleville before drifting out of sight. Then something else returned. A totally different object came back. It was reddish-orange object, a circle just like the setting sun. It stopped and hovered in midair, and the top half folded down on itself, said Hardinger, who is now in his 80s. The occurrence has stuck with Hardinger his entire life and led him to found RUFOs. See, and that's probably the weirdest thing. Like, because my dad, so he always used to work night shift. Always worked night shift. And on night shift, when he was in, we lived on a place that was called Likes Brothers. And Likes Brothers was basically like one of the biggest distributors for orange trees and oranges in the central part of Florida. So he worked there, and he was always on night shift. So he's always driving trucks, checking, make sure people were doing what they were supposed to be doing. And he had probably on like 2 or 3 separate occasions, he saw the weirdest lights. And some of them were lights, but some of them were so close that he could literally see the objects of what was emitting the light. And I think, he never really goes into great detail, which one time so I'm sending my dad like a voice recorder thing that basically, I can send him these videos that I record because he's not too tech savvy on internet and he doesn't have great service. So I'd rather just send him the audio recordings and he can just listen to them whenever he has time or everything, like little cassette tapes. But then also when he's done with it, he can just delete it and then record stuff that he wants to talk about or things that he. And I'm hoping then that I can just put those clips onto here and stuff like that because he has some weird shit that he's seen and stuff like that. But I remember one time he saw these. It was like a weird triangle ship that was floating in the air, and they had like big like circular they looked like stainless steel balls that were on the outside of it. And he said the thing was just floating above the orange trees, and orange trees are probably, I think they're about 12 feet tall, 12, 14 feet tall. Like, they're pretty tall. But the thing was just floating above that. And he's just out there in the truck, and he's just checking on the groves and checking on the guys cutting down the rows and the hedges and stuff like that. But for the majority of it, like, he's had, I think, out there, just because there's nothing out there. There's no, like, houses. It's just open, like just vast. Like you got like marshland, you got um, you got reservoirs, you just got pr- like prime area of just like nothing but like cattle, hogs, deer, gator, fucking everything out there, and it's just so quiet, eerily quiet. But I know he would have always have these weird things that he would see out there and shit that he would see, and it was all just like random stuff. And I thought that was so crazy and so creepy out there. But I gotta somehow get those because it's very fascinating to see like a lot of these people who are at these age, like this guy, he's in his 80s now, but he had everybody has these encounters back then, and then once the government came out and they were like, hey, like we're gonna declassify all this stuff, we're gonna announce all this stuff about aliens and everything like that, and then after that you have this huge influx of just people who just want to like, hey, this is what I saw. Like now that I know it's real, and I'm not so weird about it, now people start bringing it up, which is really good because it just makes you think like how many people died like without telling their story or things that happened to them that they thought they were crazy or people would think that they were weird or something like that. So it's really cool to see like a lot of these people come out and say all these things and talk about these things because I mean who gives a fuck like if you think that I'm a weirdo, let's be honest, if I didn't talk about this stuff you probably would have still thought I was a weirdo before this, but since I'm not, I'm like I don't give a fuck, like who cares? Like everybody's got something weird to fucking talk about or something that they can't explain or something that they've manifested or made up in their brain. Like everybody's got that shit. And if you embrace the weird shit and you talk about it and you feed off of that more and you thrive and you want to hear more about it, like those are the good things to talk about. Those are the fun things to talk about because those are like conversations like I don't give a fuck if you're rich, poor, white, black, whatever it is. It doesn't make a difference because everyone can have commonality, whether it be ghosts, Bigfoot, aliens, Mothman, Dogman, what fucking gremlins, goblins, mermaids, Loch Ness monster, whatever you want to talk about. Somebody could find commonality or a conversation starter off those because somebody at some point has either seen or felt or something weird has happened to them. And that's probably like the coolest thing ever. So, yeah. So, South Bloomfield, 2006. A member of Rufo's spotted slow-moving hovering lights on the commute to work. Michael Moore, the member who submitted the sighting, said the lights traveled low and hovered above a gas station in South Bloomfield, a village of Pickaway County located about 20 miles south of Columbus, before jetting northeast. I pulled into Speedway since I needed gas, and when I got out of my car, I saw it hovering almost directly overhead, Moore wrote in the full account. The lights were so bright that the glare prevented me from seeing an actual shape of the object. To describe what I saw on the bottom of the craft between the lights, I want to compare the gray, dull metallic looking plates to skid plates, Moore wrote. Moore said he only got a glimpse of what he saw, the underbelly of the craft, before the UFO shot off into the sky. Canal, Winchester, Circleville, 2019. Two more interesting encounters occurred in June 2019 and November 2019, with the witness for both incidents seeing a similar UFO or light. The November sightings occurred around 4 a.m. on November 15th when the witness was told Rufus he saw an object in the sky near Marcy's Diner in Canal, Winchester. It appeared to him as a white light and oval in shape. It was heading east. The accounts read the witness said it was in a view for less than 5 seconds before disappearing. On June 13th, 2019, the same witness said he saw a similar object that was also oval shaped and white near the intersection of routes 674 and 22. The witness stated that he saw the object nearly land but emit no noise at all on Route 674 before disappearing. The sighting occurred around 3 a.m. So yeah. I mean, aliens. I don't know. I guess if you ask me, like, do I believe more in Bigfoot or in aliens? And in my opinion, I would have to say it would have to be Bigfoot. And the only reason why I say that, like, I don't discredit anybody's account or say there's not, but there's probably just as much Bigfoot encounters as there are alien encounters. And we sit outside here in Ohio and you look at the sky and we have the lake not even like a mile away. Um, and you look at all these lights, like we went out there sometime and you see lights like, and the difference between a plane and just like a big ball of light that's just moving way too fucking fast. So sometimes it is a little, suspicious. Oh God, bless me, thank you, appreciate it. But so you think about these things, and like there are some weird ass lights in the sky, and the stars and stuff around here are really, really bright. So I wouldn't discredit anybody saying that they believe in aliens, like at all. But I'm just saying, for what I believe in, I lean more towards the Bigfoot and cryptids because that's something that I've seen, and it all is very interesting. Like whether it be like the Bermuda Triangle, or if it's aliens in whatever location it is they're in, but it's all very interesting, very fascinating. And there's lots of stories out there for all this stuff too. So if you ever get the chance, God damn, I gotta sneeze again. Oh, that hurt my back. But yeah, anyways, I'm probably allergic to all this bullshit. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, other than that, guys, that's about it for today's episode. Again, I hope you guys enjoy the episodes. I know this isn't like a cryptid thing or like anything like that, but I always got to take like a hiatus and pause and talk about something else, and then before I get back to like all the weird shit that everybody likes. So hopefully next week we'll have some good stuff, whether it be about Dogman or Bigfoot or Mothman or something like that. We'll get some fucking creepy ass shit next time. But I just like to try and mix it up and just talk about all kinds of different subjects. So if you guys want to hear anything else, you want to hear something specifically, subjects, talk, speaking matters, whatever it is, just let me know in the comments. Make sure you guys leave a like. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Watch it for 30 seconds. Watch it for 3 minutes. I don't care. As long as you watch it for some period of time, click on it, open it. See it. Cool. Here, stop by and get out. That's cool. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. A little different about the Bermuda Triangle. A little bit of aliens in Ohio. And yeah, other than that, I appreciate everybody stopping by. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. All right.